Welcome back to Park Homestead. Today I'm going to be showing you how I make homemade pizza. We typically do homemade pizza about once a week, usually on Friday nights. I change up the toppings every week, and it's just a fun and easy way to make so I don't have to come up with an idea for dinner. It's just kind of a given that Friday night is pizza night. First, I'm going to start by greasing my pan. I have this nice big cast iron pizza pan. It's great for doing pizza. And with the cast iron, I can use it either in the oven or I even put it on the barbecue in the summertime, so that way I'm not having to use the oven and heat up the house. I already pre-made the dough, and it's just 2 cups of water, 2 tablespoons of yeast, and 4 cups of flour, 2 teaspoons of salt, and 2 tablespoons of butter. I let it rest for a half an hour-ish and mix everything together, let it rest for half an hour-ish, and then spread it out on the pan. This makes a fairly large crust and a fairly thick crust. If you don't like that, you could easily probably divide the dough in half and have a smaller and thinner crust. I just push out the crust to the edges of the pan, leaving it thicker around the edges and kind of making a area for the toppings. Once the dough is all pushed out, next I am going to take 2/3 of a cup of tomato sauce, and to that I'm going to add in a couple pinches of Italian seasoning. I like the Italian seasoning from Azure Standard, but you can use whatever you prefer. Next, I'm going to add in some garlic powder and some oregano, and lastly, I will add in some onion powder. You can add in other seasonings if you like, or take out anything that you don't like. This is just how we prefer it. Once you've got the seasonings into the sauce, I'm just going to scrape it out and spread the sauce out around the pizza. Then I'm going to shred some mozzarella cheese on top. You can use pre-shredded. We just prefer to shred our own cheese. Tonight, I'm keeping it relatively simple and just adding pepperoni, onions, and peppers. So I'm going to start by adding the pepperonis. I like to keep them fairly close together so that way each piece of pizza has a good amount of pepperoni on it after it's baked and when you cut it. Next, I'm going to chop up the onion and add that to the pizza. And then I'm going to chop up part of a orange bell pepper and add that to the pizza. Once I have all the toppings on, I'm just going to add a little bit more mozzarella cheese to help all the toppings stick and stay on and not fall off as soon as you pick up the pizza. After you've got a little bit of cheese added to the top, I'm going to preheat the oven to 425 and let the pizza just kind of set, and the crust will rise a little bit while the oven preheats. I like to let it set. It makes so the crust is nice and fluffy and chewy. And then it's going to go into a 425 degree oven for 12 to 18 minutes.